Sir, I should like to thank the honorable members who have participated in this debate, and I would like to begin by saying that I am sorry that I could not be present on Friday when some honorable members spoke. But I have gone through their speeches and I have taken all the points that they have made. Sir, the debate was very constructive and I would like to thank the honorable members for their very valuable suggestions from both sides of the House. And it was clear that their intention was to strengthen the defense of the country and to see that the defense expenditure is put to the best use. These were the two underlying considerations which were weighing with the honorable members who spoke. Many honorable members have referred to our brave soldiers and have referred to them in glowing terms. I would like to associate myself with these sentiments. And I would also like to thank all those who are involved in seeing that the Army, the Navy and the Air Force function effectively, because behind every soldier there are production units, there are scientists, there are administrators, there is the whole army of the people supporting the defense forces, and all of them must today be thanked and their role must be acknowledged. I do not want to go into the different areas about which people spoke. Sir, there were some points, some discordant notes, I would call them, not one, but there were some. I can only say that if there is some misunderstanding, some misinformation, some misconception, some failure on the part of the government to put across its point, then we would acknowledge, we would accept it, and we would learn from mistakes. And if there is misinformation on the part of the honorable members, we can hope to rectify it. All of us are aware that there are interested parties in our country and there are interested countries abroad who would like to see the progress of India slowed down, who are not easy at the thought of India rising to its full stature and its full power, and who therefore lose no opportunity of trying to demoralize us as a people, who refer to our army and say that the quality of our soldiers is not good, their performance is not good, and that our scientists and technologists are doing second-rate work. They allege that there is excess defense expenditure which a poor country cannot afford. These are arguments which we have heard for years and years. Now all of us sitting across that side of the house or this side are equally concerned about it. Suppose we are developing a weapon system and there is somebody who wants to sell a weapon system. Then there is certainly over a period of time an attempt to create the impression that the weapon system we are developing is obsolete before we develop it, and so on and so forth. That is the general point that I was making. I think that is a point well taken. I would say that that can be attributed to misinformation, but I would not labor the point, and I think he should understand what he said about Sri Lanka is not in consonance with the spirit in which the other remarks have been made from both sides of the house. The important thing on which all of us are agreed is that India cannot afford to let it go down. We have a long history and that history has its ups and downs. We have known victory and defeat. We have known colonialism as a nation state with 40 years history. We have seen many wars. Against this background and the current geopolitical realities to which many honorable members have referred, nobody can deny the need to build strong defense in India. That is one point on which I think we are all agreed, and I think all of us know by instinct and by analysis that if we leave a window of vulnerability open in this country, it is the surest way of inviting aggression. That has been our experience and it is the one thing we must avoid at all costs. The other point on which the House is agreed is that this is too large a country and too important a country to be subservient to any other country whether in the matter of defense or in the matter of independence of judgment or expression of views. Therefore, we have chosen non-alignment in this country since the days of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and it has stood the test of time, and it has the support of all sections of this house and this country. But the price that has to be paid for non-alignment is that we have to pay for our own defense, that we are under nobody's umbrella. Whenever we view the question of defense expenditure in Parliament, we have to keep these basic facts in mind and decide judicially. Mr. Deputy Chairman, I am glad that you have given me a little opportunity to reply to some of the points that have been raised in regard to the improvement trust by the speakers who have spoken this morning and this afternoon. In the first place, I would like to record my gratitude to them for the very reasonable way in which they have spoken and the reasonable demands they have made and the assurances that have asked for. Now, I would like to assure the members of this house that the Improvement Trust is no longer a profit-making body. It is true that when it was set up before the last World War, it was set up on the premise that the Improvement Trust should acquire land, then put it out to auction, and after having got the largest amount of money for it, with that money it had to clear the slums. I am absolutely in agreement with the opinion of this house that it was not a right setup, but I may say that ever since we got our independence, all this has stopped. 2,000 acres of land that belonged to the Improvement Trust were made over straight away to the refugees without any money at all. And because I was dissatisfied with the working of the Improvement Trust, I appointed the Improvement Trust Enquiry Committee, known as the Birla Committee, which put up a report, and one of the members has asked me as to what action we have taken to this particular report. Now, all the recommendations that could be taken action on at once by the executive authority were taken action on, but the main recommendation was for the appointment of one building authority for Delhi, which would eradicate the confusion that has existed over the last several years in the matter of so many authorities building, so many authorities planning without any really good plan as a result. The overall result has not been good, and it accounts for the sprawling nature of the buildings that have come up, of the colonies that have come up without any attention to drainage or sewage. Simply because the government realized the difficulties of the refugees, the difficulties that they were facing in the matter of accommodation and many other things, very little interference really has been indulged in on the part of the government. The Delhi Development Authority, for the setting up of which a bill has been passed by both houses, and which authority is the first step towards the acceptance of the main recommendation of the Birla Committee report, that is, to have only one authority in charge of buildings in Delhi. On this committee, this house is represented, the Lok Sabha is represented, and as I have said, the Delhi state government is also represented by elected members, so that nothing new is being done without reference to this committee, and this applies just as well to the Improvement Trust. As my honorable colleague said while moving this bill for consideration, the powers that are asked for the Delhi Improvement Trust are very small. They have got those powers as far as land is concerned. They only want these powers as far as buildings are concerned, because whatever we may say, the fact remains that in spite of warnings, unauthorized constructions are going up all the time, even after the Delhi Development Authority came into being in November last. I have given strict orders that no one is to be evicted and nobody is evicted by the improvement trust and nobody has evicted without being provided with alternative accommodation. I would like to some of the honorable members, if they would, to come round with me and see what has been done. Only day before yesterday morning, I spent the entire morning from 9:30 to 1:30 visiting the slum areas and visiting the places to which they have been moved. If you come and see the people living in good quarters, much happier than they were before, you will know that they would not like to go back to where they were. I entirely agree that this is a human problem and it has to be tackled in a human way, and that we must not just turn out a person and let him wander about in the streets. We have got to see to it that he is accommodated, whether temporarily or alternatively, until he comes back to the place from where he was asked to go after the place has been rebuilt, or until he is given accommodation elsewhere where it is possible for him to earn his livelihood. Now, many refugees colonies have come up without any reference to what the needs of the people who dwell in those colonies are. If there is a colony where there are no cobblers, where there are no tailors, carpenters and scavengers, then those belongings to those trades can actually be moved there.